Alright, what's going on, boys? We got a market recap today for Thursday, May 7th. Took no trades today personally. There was one trade that looked pretty good that I was debating on taking, but we'll go over why I ended up staying out of this market. Unfortunately, today was one of those days where you could have literally just longed at any point in time, and you probably would have hit your take profit. So without further to do, let's go ahead and get into my daily bias coming into the morning. This is what I posted in the Discord. And I was honestly preferring shorts this morning. I said, I know it's crazy to say with the current conditions, but I prefer shorts off open to this 4-hour gap, which is also this 1-hour low, which is Asia lows that were formed overnight. But that would only be confirmed in my eyes if we got a good close below this internal low, which we never did. So that was never presented, but that was my main daily bias because the current all-time highs were high resistance highs. If we come to the chart, let me just go full screen NQ. If we come to the chart, pre-market yesterday we had put in this wick. Pre-market we came up, rejected it once, came back up in the next hourly candle, rejected both of these internal wicks. So this is like a double sweep, a double rejection. And this was the all-time high that was put in. So it's a bit of high resistance liquidity. I've talked about this multiple times in recent trade recaps because of being at all-time highs, but this turns into high resistance liquidity because we have swept, rejected again. So I wanted to be cautious, potentially targeting these all-time highs here. And that's why I preferred some sort of rebalance lower, because we are obviously just like overextended. So, and also we had this was a lot of very clean, stacked, low resistance liquidity. I thought there was a chance we could come down, take all this, tap this 4-hour gap, and then continue higher. But like I said, we are at all-time highs. It's hard to fade the all-time high bias. But my thinking was this was high resistance liquidity. I'd rather not take longs until we displace past this all-time high, this high resistance area, and then I would have more confidence longing into price discovery if that presented itself, which never did, honestly, because once we got past and took the all-time highs, not great moving price action here. But the one trade that I almost end up taking towards that high resistance liquidity area, which I ended up not taking it because it was high resistance and because at the same time ES and NQ were uncorrelated. It was off this 5-minute candle close here at 950. At this point in time, NQ was pumping towards its all-time highs. Meanwhile, ES at 950 is down here. And it looked like ES was selling off while NQ was pumping to all-time highs. So the fact they were uncorrelated gave me a little hesitation. And then also the fact that it's high resistance liquidity. So I was like, you know what? I already came into this morning not wanting to force anything if I didn't love a trade. And so there were things that I didn't love about this, which is why I didn't take it. But if this wasn't high resistance liquidity, I can almost guarantee you I would have at least placed a limit order. I don't know if it would have gotten filled or not because we have this 5-minute candle that comes up, closes above the internal high. Therefore, in my eyes, pretty much confirming the move towards all-time highs. And so at this point in time, the logical thing to do for me is to place a limit order with a safe stop loss below the 5-minute candle bodies, and then a good risk to reward, which I'm content with. And even if I normally go for a 1.2 if I'm going to place a limit order. So 1.2 RR wouldn't have even gotten filled. You can see we came down and tapped this 1-minute gap. So a 1.2 wouldn't have gotten filled. A 1.1 would have gotten filled to the tick. I know someone in the Discord did place this limit order and caught a nice long without ever going into drawdown. So shout out to you, man. That's a typical trade that I would take, but I just didn't love the overall context surrounding it, which is why I ended up staying out of it. Another thing is the 15-minute candle ended up closing. You can see the 5-minute candle here, and then the 15-minute is this next candle, and it actually ended up closing below that internal high. So just a few things that sketched me out that prevented me from taking longs here. And then after that, yes, we do get moves higher, but not really efficient because it took so long for this initial move to happen. It took the first 35 minutes of market open just to push to all-time highs, and usually the first 30 minutes are going to have the most volatility. So you can see we ended up continuing to pump higher, but just not really any sort of deep pullback that I would have been willing to put risk on the table. And then after this point, it is now 11:30 New York time, and you can see how much we've slowed down. Like, yes, we're in this 15-minute gap, but you can see how much slower the candles are forming. So yeah, no trades for me this morning. Obviously, if you took longs, like, that's pretty good. Just because of the reasons I talked about here, I wasn't willing to put risk on the table, and that's okay, right? It's being able to be content with not taking a trade is such a big thing for finding success. And not having FOMO on days like today, which I really didn't, honestly. I kept seeing the market pump. I'm like, okay, well, if we don't get a big pullback after being at all-time highs, then I'm not gonna, I'm not just gonna force anything. And it's like, even if you force something in this chop up here and you take a win, in my eyes, like, if you're forcing trades here, like, yeah, you might have won today because today's one of those days if you just long, you would have won. But down the line, those trades likely aren't going to play out. At least that's my perspective on it. So not going to ramble on too long. No trades for me this morning. And wanted to see these initial shorts, like I said, below this internal low here. And setting these conditions makes it super easy, right? I have this dashed line here. I'm like, okay, I need to see us close below these internal lows to confirm the move lower to this hourly sell side. We never got that, and so it's so easy, even though that's what I wanted to see, it's so easy to just sit back and not take anything and just let the market do its thing. So very easy to, today was pretty easy to just stay out of for me, even though longs are pretty clean. So yeah, man, that's all I got. That's the market recap for me. We'll see what kind of opportunity presents itself tomorrow for Friday. Currently up 1R on the week. So what I'm going to do now, because I've already gotten 4 payouts on this one account, is I'm risking 1/3 of the balance, even when the balance gets higher, right? So it was at $1,800, so I was risking 1/3 is $600. I took a win for about $900, and now the balance is at $22,700. So 1/3 of that is $900. So my next trade will be $900 risk. Being pretty aggressive with the risk that I'm putting on the table, because this is a very, 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 very risk-free account right now. And it's like, if I get that 5th payout and I get moved to live, great. If not, and for some reason this account ends up getting blown, it's like, okay, bet I can now scale up my trading and go to 3 accounts. So I'm in a good position either way right now. Obviously, would love to get any other payout, right? And if I stick to my rules and I stick to my trading plan and I do what I know I need to do every single day coming to the charts, and in my mind, there's very, very, very minuscule chances that I lose 3 statistical trades in a row. If you took a trade today, let me know in the comments. And other than that, code FST on your favorite props, Alpha Futures, Tradeify, Lucid, Apex Trading. All the links will be in the description below if you want to join the free Discord where I post my bias every single day. That'll be the first link in the description as well. Trying to build out a good community, getting a lot more traction. So I appreciate all the support. Yeah, it's great to see, man. Very, very thankful, very, very blessed, and I'm super driven to keep pushing. So That's the market recap. Appreciate you watching, and I will see y'all tomorrow in the next one. Peace.